For the Chinese Grand Prix, 56 laps, it's lights out and away we go, and there does go Max Verstappen, and here comes Fernando Alonso alongside Sergio Perez. Verstappen leads into the first corner, now Alonso's ahead of Perez.
Hello Formula One fans, welcome to Formula Pun Racer, the channel where car racing and comedy collide, and to all my loyal subscribers, welcome back. Today I give you my review on the two latest rounds of F1 that took place in Shanghai, China, and Miami, Florida. And as we speak, practice for the 108th running of the Indianapolis 500 is already taking place, which you can catch on Peacock as we speak. Today is May 16th, 2024, so let's begin with the Chinese Grand Prix. It all began, predictably, unfortunately, with Red Bull's Max Verstappen on pole. And when the lights went out, already he went way ahead of the field, and that was it for him. And Fernando Alonso was starting to stick his nose in the fight, but in due time, he would fall back a bit. But the biggest action started on lap 21 when Sauber driver Valtteri Bottas, his engine expired and was off the track. This, however, brought out the virtual safety car because the car was stuck in gear and they couldn't move the car for a while. Pretty embarrassing.
Damn it!
When the race went back to green, Lance Stroll unfortunately proved to every Aston Martin fan that he is to be removed. Considering this is nepotism at its worst, with his daddy-o Larry-o being the chairman, this makes him untouchable. But my point about this is, as the race was beginning to restart, Lance did a really big boneheaded move that has definitely earned a lot of negative opinions amongst other drivers. He practically wasn't watching where he was going when the cars all bunched up going through a few corners as it was going back to green, and slammed into the rear end of Daniel Ricciardo's V-Carb. Oh boy, this definitely pissed off Daniel Ricciardo, right? Damaging his floor, or the underside of his car if you like. And the fact that the Canadian was able to continue on, but would indeed endure a penalty, is pretty embarrassing for us Aston Martin's fans, as well as for those from Canada, eh? It is unfortunate that on top of Daniel Ricciardo's V-Carb being out by being rear-ended by Lance Stroll, to which the Honey Badger definitely accused Lance Stroll of acting so irresponsible and acting like a distracted driver on his phone at the wheel, things would get worse for the V-Carb team on that same lap as the Danish butter cookie Kevin Magnussen of the Haas team collided with Yuki Tsunoda, putting him out of the race. A double whammy for V-Carbs. But as for local boy Zhou Guanyu, despite finishing 14th, he got one hell of a fanfare and an honorable spot to park his car when the race had ended. But when all was said and done, Max Verstappen once again took it to the max by maintaining his dominance in F1 by winning the race, and this is his first victory in China for that matter. McLaren's Lando Norris finished second, the meat in the middle of a Red Bull sandwich, as Sergio Perez of Red Bull finished third. Congratulations, Max, for taking this to the max. And despite the fact that Fernando Alonso of Aston Martin finished 7th, he's got the fastest lap of the race, which gave him an extra point. So kudos, Fernando, with giving Aston Martin that extra point.
Thank God.
After China on April 21st, we jumped to the next round, which was on Cinco de Mayo, the day after the Kentucky Derby. And we can say that one thing's for sure, the action in this race was really astounding, and it was done Miami style.
Set then for 57 laps. The Miami Grand Prix, it's lights out and away we go. Verstappen got the best start there, and Sainz got a better start than Leclerc, who's under pressure from Perez as well.
To bring up to speed on things before I get to the Miami GP, I may have said earlier in the video that today is May 16th. Well, cut to like at least 12 or more hours later is now May 17th, 2024. Practice for the Indy 500 has continued once again, but rain might be a factor once again in robbing drivers of test time and whatnot. And qualifying for the Indy 500 begins tomorrow on the 18th and 19th, so stay tuned on Peacock for that. But at the same time, it is unfortunate that, speaking of the Indy 500, that today, May 17, marks 28 years since two-time Indy 500 pole sitter Scott Brayton of Coldwater, Michigan, was sadly killed in a fatal racing crash or practice crash at the Indy 500. just as he already claimed the pole for the second year in a row in '96, so God only knows what would have been. And just like to pause for a moment of silence for him, as well as the former Texas Motor Speedway president Eddie Gossage, who I just got word passed away recently. So a moment of silence for these two, please, before I continue with Miami. Godspeed, Scott Brayton and Eddie Gossage. You will be missed. And now to get on with the Miami GP, I could say one thing. As usual, it was Max Verstappen on pole, but Charles Leclerc seemed to have an edge by putting his Ferrari in second place. And as you may have seen in that footage of the start of the race, there was a bit of a blue flare to the ever so popular red Ferraris. Well, to put it in perspective, Ferrari, for this one race, has signed a deal with Hewlett-Packard to sponsor their cars, so they put a little blue on there. It seems pretty fitting, and it's something my Uncle Craig would appreciate because he used to work for Hewlett-Packard. He's now retired, but Uncle Craig, if you're watching this, what do you think of this Ferrari design, huh? If you tuned in to watch the race, I'll bet you would have been singing with glee if Ferrari had won this one, right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
In any case, after the lights went out, Max pretty much started to drive away as he usually has been. Lando Norris was able to get around the Ferrari of Leclerc to get a distant second behind Max Verstappen. And it would pretty much stay that way until lap 21 when the first bit of interesting caution would occur. And it all began when Max Verstappen got loose in the turn 14-15 chicane and hit a bollard. It would be stuck on his car for a while until it finally let go a turn later. And it would pretty much be stuck on the racing line. And it caused a bit of damage to Max Verstappen's Red Bull's under tray. Pretty unfortunate, but that was enough to bring out the virtual safety car to get the bollard off the track because it was on the racing line. After the virtual safety car was turned off and the race went back to green, Verstappen actually ended up pitting to survey the damage, giving up the lead over to Norris's teammate Oscar Piastri. So, looks like Max Verstappen was starting to see orange ahead of him from a bollard to McLaren's. But Verstappen would not give up without a fight. But the bigger action would occur a few laps later when Kevin Magnussen, considering how much hot water he was in the previous round in China, pitting around Yuki Tsunoda, he did another boneheaded move in taking out the local boy, Logan Sergeant of Team Williams. It was game over for the poor American, finishing dead last on home soil for the second year in a row. The Danish butter cookies car was pretty much crummy as well. And no doubt, this made Haas really pissed off, of course. Yeah, I'd say, considering this has been a disastrous 2 races in a row for Kevin Magnussen, it's just a matter of time before his time at Haas has become a Haas-spin. No doubt about it. Kevin Magnussen was indeed issued a penalty for this. On top of that, for us Aston Martin fans, it is unfortunate that once again, Lance Stroll suffered miserably. He may have finished 13th on the track, but suffered a penalty for leaving the track and gaining an advantage, dropping him back 4 places. Pretty embarrassing. So once again, if you agree with me that Lance Stroll really has to be kicked out of Aston Martin, please hit the like button and tell me what you think in the comments below, because I'm sure you would agree Lance Stroll has to go. It's just too bad Daddy-O Larry-O won't see the bigger picture about that. Fernando Alonso's race wasn't much better, because just like Lance, he finished outside the top 10. Hopefully the next round, which is this Sunday at Imola, the San Marino Grand Prix, where we can also remember the late Ayrton Senna, who 30 years ago, on May 2nd, 1994, suffered a fatal accident at this race. And no doubt, a lot of people will come to remember both Ayrton Senna and Austrian rookie at the time, Roland Ratzenberger, who was killed during qualifying the day before Senna was killed in the race. So a moment of silence for both Ayrton Senna and Roland Ratzenberger as well, please. Godspeed, Ayrton and Roland. We miss you all. By the same token, to get back to what I was saying about Miami, I could tell you another thing that, well, when all was said and done, when the safety car came out to take care of the accident that took out Logan Sergeant and clean up the mess, it created quite a shuffle of cars. And who was the biggest benefactor of it all? Well, when all was said and done, it was Lando Norris of McLaren who took the lead, and for the first time after 110 starts, finally took his maiden F1 victory. So congratulations to Lando Norris on your first victory in Formula One.
Hello, what have we here?
Oh yes, one more thing I'd like to say about Aston Martin before assessing more things is the fact that, well, it may be a good thing for the Canadian billionaire businessman Lawrence Stroll, or Daddy-O Larry-O, to take the British marquee to new heights. It's unfortunate that his young Canuck son, Lance, seems to take it to a new height of embarrassment, and here's how so, eh? Once again, congratulations Lando Norris on giving Team McLaren its first victory since the 2021 Italian Grand Prix at Monza, which was won by Daniel Ricciardo at the time. So, I wish you the best of luck in San Marino, Lando. As a result of his first win, he is now fourth in the championship. Max Verstappen finished second in the race, but he still leads the championship. And Max's teammate Sergio is still second in points, and Leclerc of Ferrari finished third in Miami, is also third in the championship. Well, congratulations once again on that. And thanks for watching, everyone. If you like this video and like to share, comment, and subscribe, please don't forget to hit the subscribe button to be notified of future videos. And we'll see who wins in San Marino. And be sure to tune in this weekend for qualifying for the 108th running of the Indianapolis 500. There are 34 drivers vying for 33 positions, so one driver will undoubtedly not make the cut. Tune in to find out who is going to go home crying and who will be jostling for position to get the bottle of cold milk. Will it be a first-time winner or someone who's won before? Tune in to find out. In any case, we salute Ayrton Senna for the times he's had at McLaren, even though he was racing for Williams in his final race at San Marino 94. But McLaren is where he made his most wins. So here's his car here to honor him. And no doubt, we'll all be thinking of Ayrton Senna as we tune in to the San Marino Grand Prix. And congratulations once again, Lando Norris. See you all in the next video. Congrats to McLaren. With that said, I am McLaren Cylinder, firing on all cylinders.